Live, the news on NBC6 South Florida starts now.
A massive wildfire burns on in southwest Miami-Dade. How residents are feeling after 3 days of flames.
New tonight, a community on edge as hundreds protest the death of a man in police custody. Now, the federal authorities are also searching for answers.
And we're taking a live look outside where South Florida is now drying out a bit after being dumped on by downpours. We certainly needed it. The rain came all day long here in South Florida.
But the question is, will we get more of this rain tomorrow? Here's Chief Meteorologist John Morales to tell us what we need and if we need an umbrella once again. John.
I think we will need it tomorrow, and it's very possible we're going to see rain again tonight as it starts to move in from the northwest. You see that area located over the Naples area, Fort Myers as well, now starting to cross across Henry County, up into Palm Beach County, even Broward County, starting to see some of the rain move in at this hour. This is coming from the Gulf of Mexico, linked to an upper level disturbance moving through into a very juicy air mass that's currently in place here in South Florida, and it's likely going to start to rain late tonight, probably past 1 or 2 in the morning, and rain for a good portion of the remainder of the evening before tomorrow morning it dries out temporarily. Look at the rainfall accumulations that we saw today, and indeed a soaker for many, and this is really great news. I mean, we need the rain, almost 1 3/4 inches of rain in Lauderdale Lakes, 1 1/3 at Fort Lauderdale. Leisure City, that's in deep southern Dade County where they most need the rainfall. They had over 1 inch today, and as you can see, Pompano Beach, Homestead, and Sawgrass Mills had just under 1 inch. I'll be back with a detailed forecast in a few minutes. Back to you.
And John, today's rains gave firefighters battling a massive brush fire the upper hand today. After 2 days of combating the huge flames by land and air, the wet weather making a big difference, but the fight is far from over. NBC6 reporter Stephen Schuler is live from the front lines of that fire in southwest Miami-Dade with an update tonight. Stephen.
Well, that's right, Trina. Many prayed for rain here the last few days, and while they did get a downpour for a brief time, it was nothing compared to some of the soaking showers across South Florida. Still, you can still see and smell that smoke in the air. It almost smells like an extinguished campfire. And for those who live and work in the area, they tell us they are literally breathing easier tonight. What once looked like a wild inferno, now a charred mess along Southwest 8th Street. This massive brush fire burning more than 2,000 acres since Sunday and leaving area residents and business owners on edge.
Yesterday was the worst day. We didn't think we were going to find the pit this morning.
Michael Gonzalez owns the Pit Barbecue, the restaurant seen in this cell phone video being doused by firefighters who stood guard overnight.
The fire was surrounding the property, and the flames were higher than probably 10, 14 feet. The smoke was in the restaurant, inside, and on the property. We couldn't see the cars in front of us when we were leaving here.
A 20-minute downpour gave firefighters the ammo they needed Tuesday to help knock down some of the flames and make ground on the blaze.
The rain helped us out tremendously, brought the humidity levels up.
Fire officials will continue to attack hot spots smoldering at the interior of the fire through the week, though for tonight they say neighbors can finally rest easy.
All the communities and the homes in here, I feel pretty confident they could sleep well tonight.
Because of that rain, I'm going to sleep better today.
And again, you're looking at live pictures of the smoke here. Firefighters will be back here tomorrow morning bright and early and expect to be here through the week trying to contain that fire, but they are hoping that Mother Nature helps them out again in the coming days to help put some of those flames out. Live in southwest Miami-Dade, Stephen Schuler, NBC6, South Florida.
And tonight, a Miami market closed for business after police say customers were picking up more than just groceries. Police say it was actually a front for drugs. NBC6 reporter Jamie Garola, he's live outside that market in Miami now with more. Jamie?
Keith, you see that window over there? The sign says open 24 hours. Not tonight. The owners are in jail. After months of investigation, police close in on this mini market and force the owners to close down.
Indeed, what was going on inside that market was not your typical grocery shopping. Apparently people will walk up and they were selling bags of cocaine.
And lots of it. Inside the Crystal Supermarket in Little Havana, nearly 134 grams of cocaine. That's a street value of more than $10,000. And that's not all. Miami police also found lots of weapons and more than $18,000 in cash.
Lots of times kids are riding their bikes up and down the streets, and these type of sales also bring criminal element to the neighborhoods.
Arrested 54-year-old Juan Villalonga and 3 women. This is Villalonga's mugshot from the 80s. He's already a felon for drug trafficking. This customer says, "I had no idea. I never see anything unusual here. I used to come here to do my grocery shopping." Investigators say they conducted several controlled buys, purchasing bags of cocaine. The most recent setup this month for $200.
We encourage people to call us. If you find unusual activity going on within your neighborhoods, those calls are always welcome.
So to recap, 4 people arrested and more than $10,000 of cocaine found inside this supermarket. Reporting live tonight from Little Havana, Jamie Garola, NBC 6, South Florida.
Protesters rally outside the Baltimore Police Department, demanding answers to why Freddie Gray died in their custody. And they're not the only ones. The Justice Department announced today it was looking into how he ended up with a severe spinal injury that left him in a coma for days before he died.
NBC6 reporter Marissa Bagg joins us live in the studio with the new details. Marissa.
Trina, 6 Baltimore police officers have been put on administrative leave while this investigation is conducted. The question now is, how did Freddie Gray injure his spinal cord? Was there an accident inside that police van, or did something criminal happen here? Chants of disgust and disbelief filled the streets of Baltimore today. Hundreds marched straight for the district police station, demanding to know how 25-year-old Freddie Gray suffered a fatal spinal cord injury while in police custody.
It was noticed that he was having a little trouble breathing, where we should have probably asked for paramedics.
Paramedics weren't called for 40 minutes after the arrest. Cell phone video shows Gray being dragged and then loaded into a van. Police say they chased Gray because he ran after making eye contact with officers. They say they found a knife on him.
We're very, very concerned that this is a pattern here in Baltimore City.
Residents say relations have been tough for a long time and that they don't trust police to treat them fairly. Over the last 4 years, more than 100 people have won court judgments or settled with Baltimore over police brutality civil rights violations.
We stand for keeping kids out of jail.
Tonight in Plantation, Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel said a similar event could happen in South Florida. He says if a deputy makes a mistake, he or she will face serious action.
We don't shoot in Broward County as police officers at what we think. We shoot at what we see and what we know. And if we pull that trigger, we better be right, or I will hold those deputies accountable.
Protesters will have to wait to learn if police committed any wrongdoing in this case. The Baltimore Police Department said it would finish its investigation by May 1st and turn over all information to the state attorney's office. The state attorney will determine whether criminal charges should be filed. Live in the studio, Marissa Bagg, NBC 6, South Florida.
New tonight, a suspect is arrested in Miami-Dade in connection with a carjacking that happened in Broward. This afternoon, officers cuffed and stuffed the suspect into the back of a North Miami police car. This came hours after 3 men carjacked a silver SUV in Broward. The stolen car was later found in Fort Lauderdale. PSO is still looking to make at least 2 more arrests.
And Keith, right now, a man wanted for a quadruple murder may be hiding out right here in Florida. Take a good look at Alexander Roosevelt Hill. Police say the 48-year-old killed 4 family members in Virginia, then set their house on fire during Easter weekend a year ago. Among those he murdered was a 2-year-old child. Tips indicate he may be in Florida working under the table jobs. Now, there's a $10,000 reward in this case. If you've seen him, you're asked to call the U.S. Marshals at 1-877-WANTED-2.
It'll be a few more weeks before we learn whether a female high school student will be charged as an adult with attempted murder of a classmate. The 17-year-old suspect was not in juvenile court today when Miami-Dade prosecutors agreed to put their decision on hold for 3 weeks. The teen is accused of stabbing sophomore DeAndre Johnson during lunchtime last month at Miami Killian High. The 15-year-old recently went home from the hospital. Now, a defense lawyer says the suspect was raped at a charter school and she was previously attending and had been bullied at Killian High School.
Since the last hearing, we've uncovered evidence to show that she was being bullied at Killeen High School. There's witnesses who are going to be able to testify that this girl was being filmed without her consent.
There's no indication here Johnson had anything to do with the alleged bullying. For now, the teen suspect remains in juvenile custody.
Tonight, the Florida Highway Patrol is trying to sort out the details of a crash that left a bicyclist dead in Miami-Dade. A woman told FHP she struck the bicyclist last night when she swerved to avoid another vehicle on the Julio Tuttle Causeway. Now, the impact sent that man and his bike flying into Biscayne Bay. About 2 hours later, divers actually recovered his body. So far, investigators haven't released his name. The driver was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. It's still unclear yet what charges, if any, will be filed, but bikes are not allowed on that highway.
My son is not a monster. He has a heart of a gold, please.
That's a mother crying in court today after learning her son won't be getting out of jail before he goes on trial for the murder of a little child. A Broward judge refused to grant Corey Gordon's request for bond. The 28-year-old is charged with first-degree murder in the death of Taish Coach. Police say he killed the child in February after the 3-year-old soiled a white couch. Gordon faces a life sentence if he's convicted.
Coming up next on NBC 6 South Florida, rough weather makes for an explosive scene along the coast. We'll see where some waves actually made transformers blow up.
We are heartbroken over this situation and apologize to all of our loyal Bluebell fans and customers.
Freezers all across the country are a little more empty tonight as a major ice cream maker recalls even more products.
Scary moments as a man in an electric wheelchair falls onto some subway tracks. We'll see who came to his rescue.
Your mornings are busy, and we're not going to waste your time. Eric Harriman joins Pam, Ryan, and Kelly with all the day's top stories, up to the second traffic updates, and your first alert forecast, getting you ready for whatever the day brings. NBC 6 South Florida today, weekdays starting at 4:30. When every second counts, you can trust the NBC 6 First Alert Weather Team. We are guaranteed to deliver the most accurate forecast, verified by WeatherRate, 2 years in a row. NBC 6 has South Florida's most accurate forecast.
Power was knocked out to residents in a small coastal town in Maine, and it was all caught on camera. Police dash cam captured huge waves crashing over the seawall, causing several transformers to explode. A police sergeant uploaded that video to the Wells Police Department Facebook page, urging residents to just stay indoors. The blast knocked out power to residents for hours.
Police body cameras capture the takedown of a student at the University of Central Florida. Investigators say John Kane was in the midst of a bad LSD trip when he pulled the fire alarm at the school library over the weekend. He then ran around the campus for several minutes before police used a taser to bring him under control. No word on charges.
A day after the Boston Marathon, the sentencing phase for convicted bomber Johar Tsarnaev got underway. Today, jurors got a startling glimpse of his mindset back in July of 2013, 3 months after the bombing when he was being arraigned. The then 19-year-old was alone in a holding cell wearing prison orange when he walked up to a surveillance camera and angrily thrust out his middle finger. The jury must now decide between two options: death by lethal injection or life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And keep 9 people are now facing charges accused of stealing more bourbon than one person could suck down in a lifetime. Police say the 9 worked at 2 different distilleries in Kentucky and had been stealing the liquor for more than 7 years. They say the heist began back in 2008 when the workers stole more than $100,000 worth of bourbon. A tip led police to discover several stolen barrels and bottles of bourbon, as well as some anabolic steroids behind a shed. Now, they all face charges of engaging in organized crime as members of a criminal syndicate. Well, a Port St. Lucie mom is charged with child abuse, accused of driving her car with her son on the hood. According to an arrest report, Bridget Garcia's 13-year-old son became upset that she took his phone away and was going to leave him at home alone. As Garcia drove away from their home, the 13-year-old jumped on the hood of the car. Police say the 32-year-old mom continued driving about 200 feet with her son clinging on. When she finally stopped, he fell, injuring his hip, knee, and foot. The teen is expected to make a full recovery.
If you or anyone in your family is a fan of Bluebell ice cream, you need to check your freezer. Grocery stores all across the country sending back their stock amid concerns of a deadly bacteria. One of the nation's most popular ice creams, Bluebell, pulled from store shelves today. The company recalled 8 million gallons of ice cream, every flavor, every product it makes, from frozen yogurt, snacks, and sherbet.
The last thing we want is someone to consume our products with some doubt or the chance that they'd get sick.
Sold in 23 states, the recall came after 2 samples of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream from its Brenham, Texas plant tested positive for listeria. 3 deaths in Kansas are linked to the Oklahoma facility. The CDC's investigation shows facilities may have been contaminated as far back as 2010. In stores across the country, the recalled ice cream is now filling warehouse freezers waiting for Bluebell to pick it up. Listeria is an infectious bacteria carried by animals that can be transferred to food, like the milk used in ice cream, and it can live and grow in freezers. Most serious in people with weak immune systems, like the elderly, newborns, and pregnant women. Symptoms include muscle aches, nausea, and fever. 1 in 5 infected can die.
If you're healthy and exposed, you will likely not experience any major symptoms other than a mild gastrointestinal illness.
Within the last few months, Sabra hummus, caramel apples, and frozen meals were all recalled for possible listeria contamination.
They can bring it back to this store or any store for a refund, or they can just throw it out.
Tonight, as millions of gallons are trashed, Bluebell says shelves will stay empty until safety is guaranteed. Again, this is key. If you have any Bluebell ice cream in your home, you should either return it to the store or, again, you heard it, just throw it away.
Real or fake? The internet is questioning the validity of a photo of a rare quadruple rainbow. Amanda Curtis was on her way to work when she said she spotted the 4 rainbows in the sky and took a photo of the rare phenomena near the Long Island Railroad station. She then shared the photo on Twitter and tweeted, "Today will be 4 pots of gold," along with the hashtags Lucky, Chase the Rainbow, and April Showers. Despite the doubters, experts say, indeed, this, what you're seeing, is the real deal.
The real deal.
Very cool, right? Beautiful.
It'd be great if there's a pot of gold at the end of those.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of rain here, South Florida got a pretty good soaking of its own today.
Yeah, we got a dousing. Let's turn things over to Chief Meteorologist John Morales. John, can we expect more of this wet stuff tomorrow?
And tonight. Yes, indeed, it's on its way. By the way, that is legit. You know how that happened? It was the regular rainbow with the secondary rainbow that you can often see, and then a reflection off the water producing the 3rd and 4th rainbow. I've been talking about that all night with colleagues, as a matter of fact, on social media, and that's how that happened. Reflection off the water producing the 3rd and 4th rainbow. All right, so there's the rain that's already moving back into Broward County after a very soggy day, and it's very possible Miami-Dade will get some of this too. Now, Miami-Dade really sorely needs this rain. There is a severe drought going on right now for parts of Miami-Dade County, specifically deep southern Dade County. Now, of course, a lot of this area is the Everglades, but some of this does clip the agricultural region of southern Dade County. Now, the rest of the county, up into parts of Broward, that's under a moderate drought. So all this rain we really needed, and it's good to see it occurring today because certainly we could use it. Now, of course, on the other hand, we really don't like to see a start to the rainy season as early as it's coming this year, almost a month ahead of its average date. There's some of the rainfall accumulation scattered about the area. I showed you off the top of the broadcast here tonight, though, how several locations got over an inch of rain. Right now it's 78 in Miami, 77 in Fort Lauderdale. It's warmer in the Florida Keys. There is a front right around Lake Okeechobee that is now starting to stall. Folks, a front at the onset of rainy season in South Florida, that usually spells rain, and that's what we're seeing. More on the way from the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Some pretty good batches of rain with heavy precipitation, including what's heading for the Keys right now. Let's not ignore this. This is going to be in the lower Keys pretty soon for tonight. So it's looking pretty soggy late tonight and into tomorrow. As a matter of fact, some showers will be around early in the day. And then I think we'll see a lull between the mid-morning and maybe noontime before more strong thunderstorms develop tomorrow afternoon. I've got those in the forecast there. Lingering rain and thunderstorms into the 7 o'clock hour tomorrow. Now, transition day on Thursday. Fewer showers and thunderstorms then. They'll still be around, but they shouldn't be as widespread. Then Friday, just isolated thunderstorms. Mainly sunny and warmer. Hot this weekend. Looks like mainly sunny and dry conditions Saturday, 91. Sunday, just isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon with 90 degrees.
All right, we'll wait for the weekend for drying out. Coming up next on NBC6 South Florida, A man in a motorized wheelchair ends up falling on some subway tracks. Next, how Good Samaritans jump to his rescue.
I'm never carrying cash with me ever again. I'm pretty sure it's debit card only from now on.
Well, she accidentally dropped her cash in a restaurant. Next, we'll show you how she used social media to get it all back. There's some new video tonight of a risky rescue on the subway tracks. Metro riders rushed to the rescue of a man who drove his wheelchair onto the tracks. This is in Washington, D.C. Two men jumped down after him, hoisted him back up to the platform. Took him about 30 seconds to do that. This is other riders also went to the edge of the platform to help out. They also retrieved the wheelchair. Emergency workers said the man was conscious. He was breathing. However, he did suffer some cuts to his face.
Good job on those rescuers. Well, good job here, too. A Tennessee woman is crediting social media with helping return an envelope filled with cash she accidentally dropped on the floor of a Chick-fil-A. Kalina Scott stopped in for a quick lunch over the weekend, and she didn't notice she had dropped the envelope filled with $500. She had just withdrawn. Now she called the restaurant to see if anyone had given it back. The employees then checked the surveillance video where they say a man picked up that envelope, looked inside, and then stuffed it right in his pocket. The restaurant sent a file to the video of Scott, who couldn't believe what she saw.
And then later on the camera, it even shows him and the lady he was with sit down and they eat their lunch like nothing's happened. Meanwhile, I'm having the worst day of my life thinking I've lost $500 of my husband's hard-earned money.
Well, Scott posted that video on social media where it quickly went viral. Then police say a couple flagged an officer down and returned the cash to him.
They are honest. All right, paramedics did their good deed for the day when they came to the rescue of a dog that nearly drowned in a South Florida canal. This was in Miramar. Fire rescue there responded to a call of a dog struggling in a canal near University Drive and Pembroke Road. They found a female pit bull there swimming in and out of the canal. Paramedics noticed the dog was struggling, so they moved in, pulled her out of the water.
You know, she took in a lot of water, aspirated a lot of water into her lungs, swallowing it when she was struggling. So we were pretty worried that she probably could form some kind of pneumonia or some other kind of infection in her lungs from all the water she took in. So animal control came.
Paramedics say the dog appeared to be in pretty good health otherwise. No word if she'll be put up for adoption.
Well, speaking of water, the fish, I thought they were going to do better this year.
Everybody did.
Wow.
That was what everybody expected. So they're off to a horrible start, obviously. Yeah. Also, the closest thing we have to playoff basketball down here is Pat Riley talking about hidden agendas. So instead, we got some football news.
Oh, football.
Miami Dolphins 2015 schedule was released today. Hopefully that won't turn into bad news as well. We'll have that coming up in sports. Welcome back. Big news for everyone who loves to grab schedules and mark their team's wins and losses at the beginning of every season. The NFL released its regular season schedule today. So here's what the Dolphins have to look forward to. Miami will be on the road for 7 of the NFL's first 10 weeks, even though one road game will technically be a home game. That'll be December 4th against the Jets, which will be played over in London. The home opener is Week 3 against the Bills. Week 5 will be Miami's bye week. They visit the Super Bowl champs on a Thursday night, October 29th, followed by Buffalo and Philadelphia on the road before coming back home for the Cowboys. Monday Night Football in South Florida, December 14th against the Giants, then Chargers away on another short week, and a tough finish with the Colts and Patriots at home. All right, the Marlins are stunned after a 3-10 start coming into the season with huge expectations, and it has taken a turn for the worst as Marlins manager Mike Redmond is feeling the heat about the rumors with his job security. Miami opening a 3-game set in Philadelphia after being swept by the Mets. Phillies were already up 2-0, but Giancarlo Stanton brought one back with a monster home run to right center into the bullpen, some 453 feet from the plate. The Fish tied it up, and later D. Gordon just keeps driving in runs. This ball gets past Ryan Howard into right field. Hechavarria scores, and Miami took a 3-2 lead. Howard, though, would get revenge in the 6th with one on. He goes deep off Dan Herron. Ozuna has a chance at the wall in center, but doesn't really jump well. And Philly would take the lead and just keep adding on. Miami loses again, 7-3. No more smiling faces with hidden agendas. Those are the words of Pat Riley speaking on the difference between this year's free agent period for the Heat as opposed to last year when LeBron bolted to Cleveland. King James found out about that today.
I'm unaware, and whatever he said, really, for me, it's not my concern right now. My concern is game 2, but I have no notion of what transpired yesterday.
It didn't really affect him. He scored 30 points, and the Cavs won Game 2, going to Boston now for Game 3. That's sports. We'll be right back.
it back.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna press it back.
One little girl is so overjoyed after rescue crews saved her brand new puppy. The family was walking a dog named Toshi early in the morning when it fell down a storm drain. Now, rescuers used heavy equipment to dig down deep enough and find that little dog. Now, after a few hours, they managed to get Toshi out and reunite him with a little girl who had just gotten the dog as a birthday present.
Hats off to the rescuers who spent so much time and effort.
Yeah.
Toshi,
stuff.
watch where you're walking from now on.
That's a tiny little
He brought a leash.
Pretty small.
Can you put a leash on the rain? Well, we really don't want to because it's dry.
Right. I mean, we can use the rain. We'll put a leash on it by the weekend. How about that? Does that
Perfect
work?
timing.
I can deal with
And
that.
then it'll be nice and steamy and hot, right? By Saturday, we'll be at 91 degrees again. But yeah, expect some rain late tonight and parts of the day tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, John. And thanks for watching.
Have a great night.